Okay, today we're going to create 3 kinds of tweens in one document. And I'm going to demonstrate a classic tween, a motion tween, and a shape tween. It's going to look like this when I scrub the timeline. And if I hit Control Enter to preview my movie, you will see that the classic tween and the motion tween on the bottom two look very similar. The shape tween is obvious that it changes shape, is a very different kind of tween. So I'm going to close this preview. We're going to create a new document and start from the beginning. A new ActionScript 3.0. In this first layer, I'm going to name it Classic. The reason Flash has classic tweens and motion tweens is that in older versions of Flash, the motion tween was the classic tween, and then newer versions of Flash, after Flash Player 10, created new versions of motion tweens that are fancier and can do more things than the classic tweens. But they still kept the classic tweens around. So you may see both. I'm going to click on this first frame, on frame 1. I'm going to make sure that I am in object drawing mode. I'm going to click on the oval tool and make sure that it says object drawing and that this is gray. I'm going to draw a ball. For a classic tween, the workflow is tell Flash where you want the tween to start with a keyframe, tell Flash where you want the tween to end by inserting a keyframe, and then apply the tween. So I'm going to click on frame 24 on the timeline, right-click, insert a keyframe. This is a keyframe, and you'll know that there's something in it and it is not blank because it has a black dot. All of the frames in between will be gray, and there will be a white rectangle right before frame 24. I'm going to move the ball where I would like it to go, and then I'm going to click anywhere before frame 24, right-click, and create Classic Tween. When I scrub the timeline, you'll notice that the ball will go from left to right, and the frames have turned a light purple blue color, and there's an arrow indicating the direction. This is a classic tween. I'm going to move the keyframe timeline scrubber back to frame 1. I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to name this Motion. On frame 1, you'll notice that the little white dot for frame 1 is empty. It's blank. We don't have anything on this frame yet in this layer. So I'm going to click on my oval tool and I'm going to create a new ball. What I will need to do is I will need to create this into a symbol. So I'm going to convert a symbol. So right click, convert to symbol. I'm going to make it a graphic symbol and call it ball. In my library, ball will show up as a graphic symbol. Then I'm going to take my arrow, right click, and create motion tween. The frames have turned blue. All I need to do now is scrub the timeline to where I want the tween to end and move the ball. You'll notice a motion path has shown up. If I'm on my arrow tool and I hover near the path while the ball is selected, I will see an arc. I can click and move the path. The nice thing about motion tweens is that it allows you to adjust the motion after you've created the tween. You can't do this with classic tweens. So far, I have 2 tweens. For the motion tween, you tell Flash where you want the tween to start, then you apply the tween, then you tell Flash where you want it to end by moving the ball. For the classic tween, you're going to tell Flash where you want the tween to start, then you're going to tell Flash where you want the tween to end by inserting a keyframe, and then you're going to go back and apply the tween. The last tween that we're going to do today is a shape tween. So I'm going to click a new layer. I'm going to name it Shape. I'm going to click back on frame 1, and remember it is a blank keyframe. It's an empty dot. There's nothing on it. I'm going to create a new ball. The workflow for a shape tween is to tell Flash where you want it to start, and then click back on the last frame, insert a keyframe, tell Flash where you want it to end, and then I'm going to adjust the ball by clicking with the sub-selection tool and the white arrow, and then I'm just going to move these paths around. Shape tweens cannot be symbols, so make sure that you do not convert it to a symbol before you create the shape tween. I'm going to make it turn into kind of an irregular shape. Then I need to go back and click anywhere in the timeline before frame 24 and create shape tween. The frames will turn green and there will be an arrow indicating the direction of the shape tween. When I scrub the timeline, I'll have an effect like this. So on your timeline, you can identify what kind of tween it is by the color and the way the frames look. A classic tween will be a light purple color and will have an arrow to a keyframe. The motion tween will not have an arrow or an end keyframe, but it will be blue. And the shape tween will be green, will have an end keyframe, and will have an arrow. When I hit Control Enter, I can preview my movie. In order to save this, we're going to go to File, Save As. You're going to save this on your flash drive. Your last name, underscore, first initial, underscore, 3 tweens. Under the flash type, under the type, you're going to save it as a Flash FLA document. I already have one, so I'm just going to replace it. Then you're going to go to File, Publish. When you go to File, Publish, Flash will also save a SWF file of your document into the same place that you have saved the Flash document. So I'm going to hit File, Publish. You're going to drag and drop both files into the server folder to turn them in. And that is 3 classic tweens.